Hey, Paul, you ever hear that saying, sometimes it feels good to be bad?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, there are times that I just want to play a bad guy.
Me too. My name's Paul Zajac.
And I'm Rob Egan.
Welcome to Boss Battles.
This is where we take sports commentary and D&D and mash it up together.
Kind of. So yes, today we're kind of having, the concept was a reverse boss battle where the party may not initially know what's going on, but it kind of dawns on them that maybe they're the bad guys.
Yes. Sometimes you get into those situations where the pay might be good, but what are you actually going to be fighting for? And that's what we're going to be seeing today.
So part of this battle comes from this book here, Flea Mortals, which is, I'm sure as you all know, the MCDM like monster manual. And Matt Colville and James Introcaso had, they really wanted to be here, but I heard that they were like getting haircuts all week. So, but I was really surprised that MCDM actually gave us 4 copies of Flea Mortals, and so we are happy to use part of this book today. Specifically, they have got a really cool section of it that deals with rival parties. And so what I did is I chose one of the rival parties to go against our evil party today. And so there's 4 characters in our evil party.
Right.
We have got and one of them is ostensibly the boss. So there's a level 12 necromancer.
Our BBEG.
Yeah, right. And then we have got, the rest of the characters are level 9. And then we've got a bugbear, oathbreaker, paladin, and then we've got a satyr, College of Whispers bard,
yep, and
a deep gnome, Phantom Rogue. Right. So all of those subclasses, I tried to choose the ones that are like most associated with a little bit of dodgy characters.
Something that's a little that kind of really walks that line of being good or being evil. That really neutral plane.
Right. And so the setup for this battle is that the characters are members of the Institute for Human Betterment, and their leader, the necromancer, who's played by James, and he does, James I think was probably the best thing about this video. Everybody was good, but he did a really good role play and named his character Renard Sourberry III.
Right.
And so the battle starts with Renaud giving a tour to his colleagues of the innermost sanctum of the Institute for Human Betterment, where there are various kind of suspension chambers, and there are humans inside in different stages of dissection and improvement with added limbs and such.
I gotta say, this is really exciting. Just also a quick note: this is James Bryant, one of our recurring players, not James from MCDM, unfortunately.
Oh, right,
yes.
yeah, right,
and. Just being able to use this source material is amazing. I know I love all the things that MCDM has been doing. Their new system that's coming out, and following that closely. It's great.
And so just before we get launched into the battle, there's one more thing in that we are giving away. We've got a few copies to give away, but we're going to be giving away one of them today, and this is their deluxe version. So this is just a jacket cover and the black exclusive cover. So they were really nice, and they sent us. I was surprised. They sent us 4 copies to give away. Super nice. The somewhere in this video we are going to give you the instructions about how to enter the contest to win. Our viewership's pretty low right now, so your chances of winning are pretty good.
Pretty good. And it is a great book. Everything high quality that you would expect from such a well-polished
and if you're going to buy the deluxe version from their site, I think it's $100. So
it's really great.
Yeah, this is worthwhile watching this video. Okay, let's take it to the video.
Let's go.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. And we'll quickly go through some introductions, and then we'll get straight into the battle. So we'll go kind of starting below me and then go counterclockwise. We'll start with Frank. Frank, hi.
Hi. My name is Frank. I'll be playing Discord, the Bard, Satire Bard.
Yeah, Satyr Bard. And I should say that, although probably already said, this adventure is mostly 9th level characters, but there's one 12th level character who James is playing.
Yes, I'm James. I'm playing Renaud Sourberry, a humanitarian entrepreneur, necro dabbler who's interested in the advancement of humanity and has assembled some of his closest friends to partake in the wonders of this project.
Well said. Okay, and moving on. Hello, Betsy. Thanks for Betsy. Like jumped in at the last second to save the session, so already she's like the hero. Thanks, Betsy.
Yes, although it says I'm Pinder. I am not Pinder. I'm Betsy, and I'm playing Mercy.
So that's what happened. Poor Pinder. Let's get it changed up. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Betsy is Mercy.
Let's break her Paladin.
Yeah, let's break her Paladin level 9 and Eve.
Hi, I'm Eve, and I'm playing a deep gnome named Apex, who is a level 9 rogue.
Very good. So we'll briefly take a pause for Rob to introduce himself and our guest.
Hey everyone, Rob Egan. Today we have Jody.
Hi everyone, I'm Jody Hill. I'm a longtime D&D player, huge fan. I'm especially excited to be joining on this particular episode. Paul had actually invited me to be in on the playtest of this, and so I've got kind of some stories from our session, so I'm really excited to see what this new party does differently than what we did.
And we're back. All right. Thanks, Rob. Okay, so the scenario has been set, and just as you all are kind of like inspecting that, you hear a voice call out. These guys tried to surprise you, but they were unable to. So there's 4 of them. One of them calls out, and he goes, "Put down your weapons, evildoers. Nobody has to die here." And seemingly in distinction to that, this guy on the top here, labeled Car, he goes, "We move now," and he gives like a rapid set of instructions. In this is a kind of a lair action. It's called the party action, and so he's going to enable these guys. Everybody can, as an extra like party action, once per round, they get to do something special. And this round, Car is enabling everybody to move up to their speed, and then proceed with their turns. So everybody's moving forward.
Such a great use of like a legendary action, reaction, layer action, letting the whole party.
Yeah, I remember in our session, this was such a way to kick it off. It was just like, whoa, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Right. And knowing how to bend those rules to make a battle exciting is super important.
Yeah, I love this Flea Mortals book and the stuff MCDM did there. Really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to move right in, and he's going to attack Renaud. And so
We don't have any openings right now.
What's that?
We don't have any openings right now. You'll have to wait your turn.
All right.
I'm glad you're excited.
He is going to. He rolls. Oh, geez. He rolls his first. He rolls a natural 1 the first time.
Sometimes that's how you start off a battle.
I know.
The second roll. And in the third roll, okay, finally he gets 19.
This is already going so much better for the party than it did in ours.
Yeah, it just shows the swinginess of the D20, you know.
Let's see.
Yeah.
8 bludgeoning damage. So that is his turn. And one of the other it occurs to you as this is going on is that perhaps you guys are not the good guys. And so one of the other guy goes,
I always love getting to play in an evil party.
get him. And he moves up as well in his turn.
We are accepting new recruits in a little bit, but you just have to wait your turn.
And
Such great little role play in the moment. That's great.
Yep. As I said before, I always love role play during the battle. Makes the encounter that much more engaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so easy to get lost in the mechanics of a fight and forget the role play. So that's great when you can balance both.
A DC 15 Wisdom saving throw, or use their reaction to attack Erasmus. So you got to go ahead and make a Wisdom saving throw with the DC 15.
25.
That's
You say
enough, I think.
so.
Nice.
His taunting is just like you're cool headed. You
I
know
made
how
it
to
through
you know how to
school.
better humans, and just calm down, Lord. But he's still going to attack you. And
Just go.
so
You're
he,
very
Show
excited.
level 12
he rolls a total of a
Huge.
25.
saving throw.
And he hits you for 12
Proficiencies.
slashing damage.
Yeah.
And you, as a result of this hit, you have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than Lord Erasmus until the end of your next turn. So you feel like
Oh, that's rough.
compelled to attack him, but this is that ability is attack rolls. So if you do something else, then perhaps that won't apply.
It's a great way to add compelled duel to an attack. I love it.
Yeah, and it also adds a lot of strategy because now that wizard has to think, okay, do I risk an attack roll or do I go for something that requires a saving throw to kind of get
All right,
around
well,
that?
It looks like these people want to dance, so I take my instrument, which is a bandori. It has like it's like a little lute with I don't know, like 50 chords on it.
Okay.
And I start playing, and I'm like, aha, you will not be accepted in our little house over here, our little party. You are uninvited guests. And I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna get these two over here. I'm gonna cast a Faerie Fire, and so you need to make me a Dex saving throw.
Faerie Fire is such a great
Dexterity
spell.
saving throw?
Definitely
Yeah,
part of every kit, I believe, should be. And figuring out how and where it hits, also super important.
yeah, definitely. And, making sure you don't get your allies in. And I think it's a great choice, especially when you've got two melee based characters here. So giving them advantage on their attacks is huge.
Absolutely.
That would be very.
Oh no!
unfortunate.
So he gets evasion. So what was the DC on your spell?
16.
Okay, so
So
he
14
fails, but
fails.
yeah. So he's looking at the Faerie Fire, right? He's charmed.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, that means that we have advantage on it.
Okay. All right.
On attack rolls.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. And then
He glows in
Erasmus.
a nice little violet color right now. He doesn't see it, but we see it.
Lord Erasmus,
And again, just that flavor of the spell.
His dex saving throw
Yeah, that's one of the most fun
yeah,
things is
he also
flavoring your
fails.
spells and bringing that out. I'd love to see players do that.
Okay.
And that means all of us, we have advantage on attacking them. And you cannot turn invisible.
Nice.
And as my bonus action, I will say to Renard, I'm like, well, it looks like we're dancing now and we might die, but at least it won't be boring. And I will give him a Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, inspiration. Okay. Nice.
Yes,
Classic
and
Bard
at
line.
Level 9,
Yeah.
it's a D8.
Wow.
And as a level 9
So,
bard,
yeah, high
you get
levels.
the D8.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anything
Yeah,
else for your
yeah,
turn?
that's really good.
I am going to.
Especially for those saving throws that
Can I
you
go?
may need to make.
Can I go here?
Hmm.
You're headed back there.
Yes. That's my turn.
All right. Renaud, what are you up to?
Thank you, Discord. You're always good at brightening the room. And Renault takes out
Nice.
a
Fantastic
snake's
line.
tongue and rolls it around in some honeycomb and says, "You know, I don't really like how you came in here, but you did come up with a very good idea. Drop your weapons and help clean up the room until this morning." And I'll cast Mass Suggestion on all four of them.
All right.
Excellent move.
So
Excellent move.
As you do this, as a reaction, the Lady Avila, she has this really interesting reaction. So it's called spellcasting feedback. So she holds her head, and you hear this kind of ringing in your mind. So when a creature Avila can see within 60 feet of her casts a spell, she taps into the caster's mind and sabotages their magic. The creature can choose either to cast the spell, then take 3 psychic damage per level of the spell, or let the spell fail. If the spell fails, the spell slot is expended with no effect, and their action is wasted. So it's what level is that?
Wow,
It's
that's
6,
wicked.
right?
It is.
So you either take 18 points of damage or the
Level 6
spell fails.
That's fantastic.
I made it through middle school. I'll take the damage.
Okay.
Please clean up the room.
Man, what a fascinating ability that is. And it's so great to have other options as a DM, because typically if you want to stop a player from casting a spell, like you have counterspell, and that's one of the few ways to do that. But this is such a fascinating addition to have that trade-off. Like, hey, if you want to do this, you got to take damage for it.
Yes.
Pretty much
Yeah.
12
Agree.
creatures of my choice
more
that I
thoughts
can
about that for
see
our-
within 60
For
feet.
our mid round.
Okay. All right. So that's all 4 of them. I think 2 of them have got advantage on saving throws. Yeah. So Lady Avella has advantage on her saving throw, and
Advantage
she
on
rolled a 2 and a 1.
magic attacks. That's cool.
Wow. Okay.
Not so much when you roll 1 and 2.
She takes your suggestion. Let's see. Carr also has advantage. These guys. Wow. And it's a wisdom save?
It is.
Okay. So he rolled a 3 and a 5. And so even though he gets a plus
man.
7, he fails. Lord Erasmus. Okay. And he does not have advantage. He rolls his, let's see what his saving throw. Yeah, he only gets a 15. So far, 3 of the 4 have accepted your suggestion, and the final canon, Ethodorius, and he has got a plus 7. Let's see if one of them can resist. Yeah, so he does. He gets a total of 22. So this guy has resisted your suggestion. What are you suggesting that they do?
Drop their weapons and help clean up the room until the morning.
Okay.
Wow.
And do you have any other actions?
None that I feel like taking right now.
That's enough. Yes, mass suggestion is like a devastating spell. So next up in the initiative order is Lady Avala, and she failed her save. So she's going to drop her weapons, and she's looking around she's like, where are there any like cleaning up supplies?
In the corner.
In the corner. Okay. So she is going to walk up to the corner and use her movement to try and go find cleaning supplies. She's got to walk up the stairs first. So, Mercy, it is you, Betsy.
Yes.
What are you doing? So, yes, just so you know that the
Devastating. That was devastating.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably almost the end of the battle there, I would predict.
Yeah, you don't know. Well, go ahead and make an Arcana check. I'm going to see how much you know about mass suggestion.
Okay. I rolled a 7 for a 6.
Yes, you don't know anything about it. Okay, so yeah, you don't know anything about mass suggestion. What are you going to do?
So I don't know that those three have been taken out of the game.
No, you heard what's going on. You know that Lady Avila has obviously following the suggestion, and so I guess what I made you roll the Arcana check was for is, do you understand how the spell works, which you do not. Let's go ahead and make an insight check, and see if you can pick up on like who's affected. I'm going to make it a fairly like a DC 10 insight check.
Again, this is great.
13.
Helps players and DM know what is going on. Takes out the meta.
Yeah, definitely. And that's great of the player being really honest about it. Like, hey, what do I know? What do I not know?
And yeah, that's what
Okay.
that's what you understand about the situation.
Can I get to Canon and Dominus?
Let's see. So it's 25 feet, but the moving through the spaces of other characters is difficult terrain. So there's at least, let's count it out. So it's 10 feet to here, which will take 15, and then from here, yeah, you can't quite reach it. You can reach basically there. So you're going to be 5 feet away from Cannon.
I will come over here.
Okay.
And I want to kind of be between Renard and Cannon. And I will... Renard, how much damage did you take?
Well, I've seen better days.
Yeah. So you are down to looks
36.
like 36 hit points out of 74. Is that correct? So
That is
Again, glass cannons,
30
wizards,
odd hit points.
super
Yeah,
powerful.
definitely.
So I'm going to do
hits.
lay on hands.
Yeah, you got to protect them.
I'll give you 30 hit points.
Sweet.
It's good to have good friends. Thank you.
And that was a great move by the
That's my
paladin,
turn.
to restore her
Okay.
ally rather than taking an attack. That takes
me
a lot of
check to
humility as a
see,
player, I think, to not try to get the spotlight, to deal a bunch of
Apex.
damage.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Be a team player.
All right.
Make sure your team is supported.
So, see, I've got, I think I can make it about 30 feet. I'm going to stealthily, very stealthily, move down here towards Cannon.
So you're going to try and move with stealth.
Yes.
So you're going to use your cunning action to hide and then move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
You have the Skulker feat, right?
Ba-da-ba-ba.
I think you do.
For being the deep gnome, she has advantage on stealth up to, I think, 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. Go
That's
ahead and
excellent.
roll.
That's
For stealth. What do you get?
Stealth. Dirty 20.
Okay, yeah. So, that surpasses Cannon's passive perception. All right, you were able to stealthily move.
Sneaky.
So you're moving. So hang on a sec, though.
I didn't know exactly what this object was.
So that thing is like, a tank of stuff, and this is a small drop off, which I'm going to say you can just jump down, and you're pretty stealthy. So 20
So is
feet
it
here is
the ground?
to the ground. Yeah, from between here and here.
Absolutely love detailed maps.
Trying to get the pointer out here.
Oh,
It
yeah.
brings so much more just dynamic talk and play. And it's not just I move through this space, but it's where am I? What's going on here?
Yeah, and provides so much opportunity for creative decisions in the moment and movements.
Absolutely.
Oh, so you want to like get on top of this thing?
This thing here, is it on the ground or is it just off the ground?
It's basically right on the ground. I mean, it's cylindrical, and the base of the cylinder is on the ground, and there's some brackets that kind of stabilize it there. So you can't like.
Got it. Okay. I was going to say I'm short enough. I was going to try to go under it then.
No.
All right. I don't want to move into the fairy fire, but if I must, I must.
You could you have a line of sight to him, right? He's got partial cover, I'm going to say, but you could, you could try and shoot him if you want to.
Yeah. Sorry, I like my daggers, but all right. If we must use the crossbow, then we must use the crossbow.
Okay. Are you going to use your?
Yep. We're going to kind of move around this way and peer around the corner.
Okay. And are you using your arrow of slaying, or are you saving that up?
I would love to know what it does. So
an arrow of slaying is a magic weapon meant to slay a particular kind of creature, and so this arrow of slaying is one that slays humans. Surprise!
Wow!
And some are more focused than others. I'm just reading the text here. For example, there are both arrows of dragon slaying and arrows of blue dragon slaying. Yours is just for humans in general. If a creature belonging to the type, race, or group is associated with an arrow of slaying takes damage from the arrow, the creature must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, and then take an extra 6d10 piercing damage on a failed save. Or half as much.
Man.
We're definitely going for that bolt.
That's the take extra damage.
Arrow right there.
Yeah, we're definitely going for that bolt.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we're going to hit with the crossbow.
Go ahead and make a roll.
Oh, dice. 12.
No.
You get advantage because
you
you're
have
hidden.
advantage because you're.
Oh, gosh. I always forget that. Hold, please.
Advantage for being hidden.
Yep.
Which would also trigger the sneak attack.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ew, still 12.
Oh, that's rough.
So yeah, that does not hit him.
Oh wow.
Still 12.
Let's see. So you've moved. You've taken an action. I guess you hid with your bonus action.
Yes.
So that's it, right?
Yeah. The dice were not keen on that one right there.
They were not. All right. So that leaves us at the end of round one. So actually, we're not at the end of the round. I forgot. Cannon still has a turn. So he is going to use one of his abilities called Unholy Fire. Athenodorus calls unholy black flames from the depths at a point he can see within 90 feet of him. Each enemy in a 15-foot radius of that point must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 14 fire damage plus 14 necrotic damage and is moved up to 15 feet horizontally. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much. So the radius is 15 feet. 15
Again, positioning
feet.
is really important.
Probably.
You know, you probably have a target that you want to think about, but there's
Is that not measuring it out?
you want to maximize the amount of targets you get.
Let's see. So
The cool thing
10,
about this is it only affects
15.
enemies, so you don't have to worry
Let's see if I
about
can
shaping
move
it
that around. No,
around your
it's not letting me
allies. You
move.
can just put it
Do it this
in the most
way.
optimal spot.
Yeah, that's a fantastic
Square.
part of the spell.
Come on.
No friendly
there we
fire,
go.
just
Okay,
unholy
sorry.
fire.
Yep.
15
Nice.
feet. All right. So he is going to use it on Renault and Mercy. So you each have to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw. Renault, go ahead and roll for me.
We have +1.
Oh, yeah. So that's a 13, and then I get a +8 or a D8 for the Bardic Inspiration if I wanted to do that.
Okay. Nice.
So 13 plus 1. So
D8.
I mean, great again.
A
Great use
14.
part of
Ouch.
inspiration, but
Ooh.
14 total. Okay, so that
You get
is
those
a
ones.
fail. So
Yeah.
you're going to take 28 points of 14 fire damage.
And that was great of the
and,
paladin to remind about
14
the
necrotic
aura of
damage.
protection as well for
And
that
you get,
extra.
You get moved 15 feet in a horizontal direction.
Part of it was necrotic.
Yeah. Oh, so you only take 14 points of damage because you're a necromancer and you're immune to
Resistance. So I
necrotic
take
damage.
21 instead of 28.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's great, especially in this instance because necrotic doesn't come up often as a damage type, but when it does, that's great for a necromancer.
Mercy.
absolutely.
You got to make your saving throw.
17.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a save. So you only take 7 fire and 7 necrotic damage, and you were not moved around.
I can imagine this unholy fire on a group of minions.
Oh yeah, just wipe them out.
Yeah, anything that has like less than 20 hit points.
It's gone.
He's going to get some movement, so he's going to move up to be poised next to Renault. And he's shouting. He's like, "Come on, wake up!" But doesn't seem to be affecting the other 2 guys or the other 3 who were under the suggestion. But just as he's calling out, he's like, "Do something!" Out from the darkness emerges another figure, and literally, what? She says, "Sneak attack," and she's going to fire a crossbow
Perfect.
at Renault. Oh, geez, I'm rolling terrible. I rolled a 2. I think I haven't rolled anything like greater than like 6 all night. So that's her first. She misses, and the second one, okay, she gets a total of 26. And so you go ahead, Renault, and you take 8 points of piercing damage. So you take 7 points of piercing damage. And what I did not forget, or I forgot that she has the ability to get advantage. So I'm going to give her one more roll on the one that she would have missed. 12 plus 7. So a 19. That's a hit?
Well, it would. I'm going to cast shield. I would have cast shield on the one that missed, or the one that hit me anyway. So shield would have blocked that one, but the other one gets through.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Yeah. Never underestimate the shield spell.
It's 7 points of damage.
Yeah.
And sneak attack on it, right?
Oh, right. Thank you. What a job.
Not that I really want to help, but
It's
all been
no,
very
you know
exciting.
what? So I'm given. They have a lot of extra kind of abilities. And so the sneak attack was for flavor. Like it's not listed in her thing that she actually has sneak attack. So I'm not going to like add it on, even though it's like it's not looking good for this other party because they've like really taken on your suggestion. But I'm not gonna to give them something that they don't have. But she is going to go ahead and use her movement and cunning action to get up in your face, and she's ready to take action next round. So now we're at the end of round
1. All right, let's take a break for round 1. Now, one thing I want to definitely cover, this has been a really very intense and lots of going on in the first round, right? So one thing I want to say is the enemies, who the party are fighting, they took 3 attacks, or they took 7 attacks. They hit 3 times. The opponents failed 2 of the saving throws of the 3 saving throws they did a total of 46 damage that round, which a lot of that was centered on Renault, which is good because we can tell, and we'll get into that, how Renault is a heavy hitter. The party attacked once, just straight out did an attack, but missed. They had the opponents fail 5 of their 7 saving throws, and there was a lot going on with that Faerie Fire and Suggestion, a lot of saving throws going on, and did 0 damage total. But as we'll see, it's not necessarily the damage done on round 1, because they're setting up, because they also had the enemy lose 1 of their turns. So there was five opponents, and one of them just lost their turn completely. So let's get into some of the other breakdowns, some of the other pieces of the round. Jody, what are some things you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely right out the gate, that mass suggestion on the Wizards' part was just, I mean, play of the game. I'm sure. Just to do that, to take your opponents out of commission, especially in a scenario like this where you've been surprised, you're not expecting it. And right out the gate, being able, the enemies positioning themselves, the party is at such a disadvantage. They don't have any of their buffs up that, maybe in a more traditional combat, when they're doing the surprises, they would have done some more preparation.
Right.
So just to have that suggestion, take them out of the equation, so you can do your setup, just absolutely phenomenal. I cannot think of a better thing he could have done on his first turn in combat, really.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, mass suggestion can just end encounters straight away. Though there was a little bit of surprise, something that I don't think any of the players had seen before, and that was I believe it was the spellcasting feedback.
Yes, that was so cool to see. As a DM, you don't often have a lot of options for interfering with your player's spellcasting. Of course, counterspell is a big one, and some people have varying opinions on that. I've heard a lot of DMs say they just straight up ban it from their games. But to give this as another option, that one of the things I love to do with my players is give them difficult decisions to make. It's one of the things I love to do. And this so perfectly encapsulates that. It's like, yeah, you can cast that spell and you can mess up my monsters, but there's a cost to it. You got to take damage. Or like, if you don't want to take the damage, that's fine, but you still lose that spell slot. And so either way, it gives you as a DM that option of making something costly and giving your players that chance to really think it through. What is the best trade-off here?
That's so well put, and I think it's an excellent breakdown of the spellcasting feedback. I love this trait, especially for what you said, where it's when you have spells like counterspell, it can be very deflating. It can be very demoralizing for a player to be like, I have a turn, I want to do a thing, and then for the Dungeon Master to say, well, I'm going to counterspell, and that's the end of your turn. Like you said, the same effect still happens, but it's a choice for the player. At that point, it's no longer, I'm telling you don't have a turn. It's saying like, all right, well, you can do that, but something bad is going to happen. And then that completely changes the agency for the player to then choose what they want to happen for their turn.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I think was really great, and I also love to see, was having the enemies go first. That layer or that party action where everyone got to move and do something, I think was fantastic, because sometimes when a battle starts and an initiative is rolled, and if the initiative plays heavily to the party side, that can also just be game ending right away. So being able to have the enemies take a half turn to at least start applying some pressure before anyone gets to move is very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And especially too, that there are so many options that players have, so many abilities and feats and class things. I think one of the issues with kind of standard D&D monsters is you as a DM don't always have all of those same options. And so it's
Right.
what I love about this book that Paul is using, is it gives you so much more flexibility to kind of even that playing field, and especially surprise your players, especially veteran players that are used to the way things normally go.
Yep. I think I was saying it earlier. This is really great, like knowing the rules and knowing how to bend them so that
Hmm.
it keeps things fresh and surprising for your players, keeps it balanced so it's not, so it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming or that like the players don't have a way out. Knowing how to bend the rules is amazingly important to keep your battles really vibrant, and I think Flea Mortals does a fantastic job on adding a lot of that and refreshing your battles and making all that just really kind of pop. Is
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
great. Now,
Yeah.
you did say that you ran through the playtest of this.
Yes.
I want to know from your perspective when you were playing, what was going through your mind when this happened, where it was like, oh, they get like a half turn right away.
Yeah, I mean, that was really overwhelming to us in a good way. To just have it just crash in all at once, and we were kind of panicking a little bit, just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? They're here, they're right on top of us. I was actually playing Mercy the Paladin, and Paul had graciously let me kind of do some tweaking and adjusting some of the feats and stats,
Sure.
and just almost immediately, the way they did it rendered a lot of that a lot less effective than I was planning on it being, which was really great for me. Like, it wasn't at all disappointing. It was like, wow, this is so different from how I expected this to go. And I've been playing for a long time, and it's rare I get surprised.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was just such a cool feeling. And again, it forced me to think of things a lot more creatively and try to be like, okay, if I can't do what I had planned, what can I do now? And just adjust that strategy on the fly, which is the point of the game. It's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's I can say as a DM, as a player, very difficult sometimes to remove that metagaming, that understanding what the rules are, and just kind of, for better or worse, optimizing a character so
Mm-hmm.
that they play the way that you want to play. And then when that all gets thrown out the window, it now becomes exciting. It's like, okay, good. Let me see what I have. And I start looking through and thinking about, like you said, creative solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of creative solutions and such, the flavoring of the spells, the map, we were saying
Yes.
it during round one. I want to get more into it. Being able to just use what is here and asking players to kind of delve into the environment. How what are some of your takeaways about using the creativity of the battle as we go along, role play and all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things that really stood out was I loved the little quips and witty one-liners that the wizard and the bard had, kind of going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So cool to get into that character and have that little back and forth during combat, especially when you're an evil party. It gives you such a way to taunt and be a little bit of a jerk. So often, we play as good characters, and so every now and then it's fun to be the bad guy for a change.
Absolutely. And I know there was some time that um, we had Apex asking about the environment, about
Hmm.
how they would move through the environment, asking about heights and differences. And I would say it it takes away from the actual like movement of the battle, but I feel is incredibly important because when players start asking those questions, they're doing so because they want to do something with their character. They want to have like this action sequence. So then like talking with the DM and players, being able to have that conversation is vital so that they can be creative. And I always find that when players start asking me these things and we start having that conversation, it usually always pays off because I'm like, all right, you're doing something amazing. This is great. And then again, knowing how to bend the rules. It may not be exactly in like what they're trying to do, so you kind of come up with it on the fly.
Hmm.
All part of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Always rule of cool takes precedence. And yeah, I think that brings up another really good point, that the cohesion that we're seeing in this fight, not only between the party themselves, but with the party and the DM. So many good, like you're saying, questions, so much good discussion. The players are doing a fantastic job of reminding each other, hey, I have this thing that's going to help you. Hey, how are you doing on health? You know, we kind of mentioned where Mercy chose to heal up the wizard instead of trying to do something more offensive, which just shows the flexibility of paladins, that they can do the heavy damage hits, but they also have support and healing. And that was such a great choice that player made.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, just being able to take a step back and buff the team instead of having to like maybe go in, because we know, like you said, paladins are fantastically versatile. We know paladins can do damage, but sometimes keeping your party alive is much more important.
Absolutely.
A couple things I did want to just also talk about are at one point Apex talked about moving through Faerie Fire and wanting to avoid that. And I know some of the folks watching might have also caught this, and Faerie Fire says that when it's cast, it sheds the bright light on those and gives advantage on attacks against them. It's not a duration. It's not something that stays on the field, so you can move through that area afterwards. Though I know you're also saying Faerie Fire is really great spell just to lay down to help the melee fighters, right?
Yeah, definitely, and especially the rogue who relies on that advantage for sneak attack. And when there's so much going on in this battle, they may not always be able to maneuver right or rely that their ally would be within 5 feet.
Right.
And so, doing Faerie Fire really puts that up, and especially for it only being a first level spell, it remains relevant at almost every level of play.
Oh yeah, you can use it quite reliably. It's a concentration spell, but a lot of times, if you need that advantage or other concentration spells don't quite work, you can just take Faerie Fire out of your kit and just give some room for some heavy hits.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention too is not part of our players, but Carr. One of the villains uses 3 attacks. Now I know when Paul rolled, he rolled a 1 and a 2, but the third attack hit, and it gave like a little bit of a compel duel sort of mechanic, where if someone attacked, like if Renault attacked anyone else, they'd be at disadvantage. I have to say, a lot of times we talk about tanks in D&D about having a high AC, lots of hit points. Barbarians are usually like the way that we go, but it's also really important to remember that as a tank, you also need to you need to take attention away from your other party members and draw that in. Just because you can be hit a lot doesn't mean that the enemy is always going to hit you.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially if you have a really clever DM or really clever monsters the DM is playing, and again, that's so great to add that, because there aren't a ton of abilities in D&D 5th edition that allow you to take that focus onto you. So this is such a cool way to do that. I just again love Flea Mortals.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I think that's a really good wrap up of round 1. Let's get moving on to the next round.
Let's do it.
Fight. Now we're back to you, Discord. What are you going to do?
All right. There's a little cluster of people over there. It's great.
So
I'm going to look at
their
Cannon
turns.
Okay.
straight in the eyes, because I saw him move, and attacking my friends. And I'm gonna unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power from my forehead. So and then this one is for you, Cannon. And it's a 120-foot range, so that's fine. You need to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence saving throw. Okay.
Of 16.
Okay, so he does not have any 16. All right, he has no bonuses, and he rolls. Oh, he rolls a 16. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so you will take half the damage,
Okay.
which is 7d6 because I casted it at 4th level.
Okay.
Oh, nice. 28, so you'll take half of that, 14. That's too bad. They were
Okay.
great. And then you will not, because you succeed. Normally, you would have run away in the opposite direction of me.
Oh.
But because you succeeded, you would have been actually incapacitated. Sorry. Yeah, you would have been incapacitated. But since you succeed, you take half as much damage, and you are not incapacitated.
Okay. Nice.
And so that's, and I'll say, well, we gotta kill at least one of them. So let's focus our fire on cannon.
Nice.
That's what I'll say. And then I'm going to give you another Bardic Inspiration, Renard. And this one I'll say, try not to waste it this time, please.
I will try. They're very excitable.
Okay.
That's it. That's my turn. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. I feel, I don't know, can I go in this corner? Is there any way I can hide? Like this.
Oh, you're going over there, yeah. So we had skipped the Lord Rasmus and Carr, but they're just looking for cleaning supplies, and they're like they turned Renaud. I see bodies. There's no cleaning supplies here.
In the corner, it's brooms and dustpans and stuff like that over there.
Okay, so they both like, okay, if you say so, and they're walking up over here.
The two that are fairy fire, what a waste.
Yeah. All right. So that Discord. So now it is your turn, Renaud. What other havoc are you going to wreak on this poor group of? These are the good guys.
You guys have been quite a headache. I'm going to cast Synaptic Static just a little bit behind the two friends that I have here so that they are within a 20-foot radius. And then they both need to make a 17 intelligence save. Yeah, there you go. I think that would do, right?
Okay, so yeah, you're putting those two in and excluding anybody
Not
else.
targeting myself.
Okay, yeah.
It's an intelligence save of 17.
Okay, all right. So let's see, Lord Cannon. Yeah, geez, 17. All right, he rolls a 3. Okay, and Cloak. She rolls a 9 total. Okay, so they both
that's
fail.
rough. He cannot roll anything.
Yeah.
So 8d6.
8d6.
So 30 points of damage, and then
Dang.
for the next minute, their thoughts are muddled. So they roll a d6 and subtract that number from attack rolls and ability checks, as well as Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration.
And those were some good rolls. 86 has an average of like 20 damage.
Oh, okay,
30,
yeah.
so not average.
For attacks,
Yeah.
you got it. And then
And yeah, that
ability rolls.
taking off D6 for
So,
attacks
Cannon
and con
is,
saves, that's huge too.
bloodied. Yeah. But not Cloak. And all right, so it's Lady Avala's turn, and yeah, so she seems to be ignoring the fact. She's like, "Are you okay, hon? I got to do some cleaning. I would help you out, but
Okay.
this seems like a real priority." Renaud,
It is.
I don't know. I kind of forget what her beef was with this guy, but it is a dirty place. So she's going over. She's going to look in the other direction. She's like, and she travels over here. Okay.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Mercy, it's your turn. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna come up here
Yeah.
and I'm going to attack with my longsword.
Okay. go for it.
Yep. Now they start pouring on the damage.
Exactly.
19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. He's got an 18 armor class.
Oh,
All
nice.
right. And then I am going to smite him.
Of course.
There it is.
So
There it is.
that is 12 damage. And then
Another 2d8 per spell slot. So, what level spell
D8
slot
plus
are
an
you?
additional D8 for each spell slot above first.
Right. Yeah.
so I will be rolling 3d8.
Okay. Nice.
Excellent.
Yep.
Say hello to my friend.
Additional 14 radiant damage.
14. Oh my.
That's
Oh my.
right
He
now.
has been smoted.
So what's
He
the
has
total?
been smoted indeed.
Mm-hmm. The average is
It was
13 and a half. Mercy rolled 14.
26.
Excellent.
Wow. Okay. And he is
26
down.
in one hit.
I mean,
That is
Great.
enough. He goes, "Ugh." And okay, everybody is stunned. The cleaners look less interested in cleaning, but they're still doing it. And Cannon's down. Cloak is wearing this weird mask, and you can't tell what's going on, but it doesn't look good. There's some awkward movement.
Remember, that
Apex,
suggestion only
what are you
ends
doing?
if the person.
Oh, I'm
under
sorry,
suggestion takes
Betsy. Did you
damage
finish? Was that the end of your turn? You want to do something else?
from?
You have
I
one
have a
more
little
attack.
bit of movement left.
Okay, yeah.
I
You have another
do have
attack.
another attack, so I'm going to move up to
Yeah,
cloak.
damage from
Right.
an enemy or
Yep.
your allies, not
Okay.
from your
It's
friendlies.
important to have good
Yeah,
friends.
that's
and
great.
You know what they're capable of. So
That is only a 15 to hit.
15, yeah, that doesn't hit.
That's
Still a great turn for Mercy there.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Anything
taking one
else?
of the,
That's your turn. Okay,
enemies out of
Apex.
Yeah, that's huge.
What are you up to?
Did Cannon actually die?
He's in the process. He's unconscious, right? He's
Oh, okay. Not actual death yet. All right. I'll
Right.
hold on that one then.
you could double.
All right. We can double tap. I mean, absolutely could double tap. No, that one's gone. We'll just say that. How far away is Cloak then? All right. Okay. So we're gonna move.
Okay.
Can I kind of step over Cannon?
Great flavor.
Yeah, sure. Right. He's down. Yes, you can.
I'm assuming
Okay.
I can just step over him.
Again, I'm just imagining like this character just very
up in Cloak's business up in here.
just excuse me.
Very frustrated that I lost that bolt. Very frustrated.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go back with sneaky daggers again.
Yeah.
Cloak, eat dagger.
Cloak, eat dagger. Yes. We'll try to remember advantage this time.
What'd you got?
Hang on, I'm pushing the button.
Okay. Come on, D&D Beyond.
25.
Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah,
good
that,
hit.
That hits for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alright, so that is this lovely little dagger. So that's 6. And then sneak attack. Hopefully.
Do you say it?
No, I don't say it because I have more class than she does.
29 total. Right?
Sneak attack.
Yeah, so that was 23. And then we're gonna do Wails from the grave.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Wails from the grave. Oh, that's fun. Let's So let's see. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first. It takes 3d6 necrotic damage. You also deal this damage to the first creature.
Okay. Oh, so you
Great to
okay,
see
so
some
you
of
get
these
more
less
damage
common
on
damage types
on
coming in.
cloak, and
On
you're
cloak.
going to damage somebody.
And
Okay, so
get a second, yes.
who else you're directing the damage to?
Can I double tap on cannon?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna say yes. You guys, yeah. Who's the bad guy now? You are.
I don't know.
I think rules is right.
Yeah.
You have
So I'm
choose
going to double tap
once,
on
but
cannon.
again,
Okay.
So
in the moment,
let's
all
see.
right,
So
DM has
do
final say.
3d6 for.
So yeah, he's down. It's a it's a critical hit.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to roll. So I think I got this right. So he's down. You have to attack, and then with advantage, and then it's a critical hit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
So you still have to attack him, right?
Well, let me roll the 3d6 that's on to cloak.
Okay, so you're
wait a minute.
using your thing, and you're attacking the guy who's down, and then you're passing on the extra damage to cloak, or no, it's the other way around.
It's just damage. I'm not sure if it needs another attack roll.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so you're passing on the damage, right? All right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's right after the sneak attack. You're doing an additional 3d6 on a second creature as well as the first.
Okay.
So
yeah.
first 3d6 goes to cloak.
All right, roll it.
So she gets 10 more.
Okay. All right, she's still,
Nice.
she's still hanging in.
For like 20.
Yeah, and then the double tap on cannon.
Yeah, I mean,
13.
wow.
Okay. Yeah, so you like slash open his throat, and you can see like exposed cartilage. You get there's like a bubbling, and it doesn't look pretty.
Gotta love when a DM
Okay.
gets graphic.
Anything else for your
I mean-
for your turn?
We're saying the
Did he die?
immersive piece of it.
There's bubbling. It's hard to tell. Does the bubbling represent residual air from his lungs escaping, or is he trying to? Go ahead, make a medicine check.
See, I think he was asking because of a special trait that Apex
but get your
has.
trinket.
And this would be a good time to just ask, like, I'm trying to use this.
13?
Yeah, you can't tell. It's I would have a
I
hard
need
time,
it for my
right?
collection.
You can't tell. All right. So, anything else for your turn?
No,
Okay.
but thank you.
So that brings it up to cloak. So this party gets these like lair actions, which you saw at the beginning. The guy got the extra movement. So in addition to her turn, this is a separate lair action. Cloak moves up to her speed, then makes a short sword attack against a creature within her reach. On a hit, the attack deals 33 damage, piercing damage, instead of its normal damage. So this is like a lair action in addition to
that's
her
bad.
turn coming up.
That's
so she's going
rough.
to get this plus her turn. So she
Pretty amazing, though.
is not going to
Yeah.
move really. She's just going to try and hit Renault. And okay. Let's see. And she's going to use her, so she gets a total of
Either way, I'll be
15.
casting shield.
No,
so.
16.
Oh, all right. So yeah, it looks like she's doing well, but then a glimmering shield of darkish energy.
Another great use of shield.
And she's gonna
Shield is
try and
amazing.
so that was her lair action, and but she does get 2 more attacks, which she's gonna take an advantage. So one of them is a 18.
That will still not hit.
And the next one is a 26.
That will hit all day long.
Okay. So you're going to take 8 piercing damage and 3 poison damage, and you're poisoned.
Oh, hold on though. You have to roll a d6 and subtract that from your roll. Well, I guess
Oh,
the
that's
26, you'd still hit me no matter what, but it doesn't
Okay.
matter. But, yeah.
Okay.
So you have to-
and so then she is going to take the disengage action, and she is going to run. And this battle is over. You guys have, totally destroyed them, basically just with that one spell.
There we go. Great. So end of the battle, end of the round, end of the battle. First, just want to bring up a few of the end of battle statistics. So for our party, the total damage dealt was 99 damage.
Wow.
Which was a lot. Opponents that lost their turns, and I think this is really paramount to what we're talking about. So there was a lot of damage, but if you lose a turn, you don't have to do that damage. 5 of the 10 turns that the opponents had were lost. And then we're going to see that the attacks made on them, two of the 4 attacks the party made landed. Of the fail saves, the opponents failed 7 of their 9 saves, and had they gave themselves 2 buffs and they had 2 debuffs. For the opponents, total damage dealt was 54, which we saw early on in the earlier part of round 1. They didn't lose any turns, so they had every turn that they had for both rounds, 8 turns. They landed 4 of 10 attacks, and then the opponents failed 2 of their 3 saves. Let's get talking about this round and then about the battle overall. So what are some of your thoughts about this round?
I think just first right off the bat, I thought it was hilarious that Cloak had to get in just that one last little hit on Renaud before just taking off out of there. That was funny. I
Yeah.
like that. But no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just like if you're gonna get the hit in, let's just do it. And then, but as playing a character smart, they're not going to play to their end.
Yeah, I mean, it was clearly over for them, and so I don't know what their motivations were, but clearly not worth dying for.
Exactly.
What I loved about this round was kind of like we were saying, the party took that first round to do all their setup, put everything in place, do all the debuffs, do their healing, do all that, and then just started just going to town in the second round, just taking them down one by one, bringing out their big damage. That was really cool to see them just really just start doing what they really wanted to be doing.
Exactly, and we could see that the round 1 as a setup, and then just really decimating the enemies by taking them out of the battle. Really, then gave them the freedom to do what they needed to for round 2. Definitely.
Another thing I wanted to mention was I think it was Discord, kind of at the top of round 2. I think I heard him mention something about, so much for that fairy fire. That was a waste or useless. I think he said something like that, and it may have ended up not really affecting the flow of the battle. But I don't by any means think it was a mistake to do that because didn't know that the mass suggestion was going to come through, and I think that's a really good lesson that. It's never a waste to do with the right thing in the moment, even if in hindsight, maybe it doesn't work out the way you think it did. It was still a fantastic move to have done. Don't get down on yourself if you see something not work the way you wanted it to. It doesn't mean it was a mistake on your part.
That's a really fantastic point, and one of the things that I really want to I'm glad you mentioned, because it plays true to why we started boss battles. We want to show what can be done. What sometimes what it works out, sometimes it doesn't. bring the highlights of what you're doing. And this is a perfect opportunity to say, like, yeah, you're watching this battle. Fairy Fire, we like how we say it was like it's a really great spell. Sometimes it doesn't pay out because you end the battle too quickly, but it doesn't mean that was a bad play. So yeah, we really hope. I know Paul and I really hope that these videos that you help us make and that people are watching really kind of help kind of bring that home as well, where you can see these effects in play and then see how they can play out or sometimes not play out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
One thing I definitely wanted to mention was, I know at one point Apex had done a ton of damage. There was the sneak attacks. I believe it was the Phantom Rogue Wails from the grave of being able to just kind of push your sneak attack damage onto a second creature.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, which she then did to Cannon, who was on the ground. At one point, she was asking like if he's still alive and wondering. And I think this would have been a really great opportunity to talk with the DM and say, hey, my character has this ability, has ability X. It triggers when someone dies or triggers when this happens. Have that conversation. So there isn't that like, hey, is this person doing this or is it a right setup? I know as a DM, I'm always like, hey, tell me what you want to do. I want you to be able to do the things that you can do, and we'll have a discussion about it. So I'm pretty sure that this was the tokens of the departed that she was trying to get, which says that when a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul. And there's a lot that it can do. I'm not going to go into details right now, but it triggers on someone's death. So I'm pretty sure she's just trying to get one of those tokens. And it might have been better to say, hey, I have this ability that when someone dies, can I use it now?
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I do kind of respect, because I mean, I don't know, I'm speculating here, but I feel like maybe she didn't come right on say that, maybe not wanting to get like too metagame with it or bring that in, like trying to like stay in the moment. Which I really respect that choice, if that was the intent, because sometimes it can be hard to draw that line between bringing in just the raw numbers and the mechanics, which takes you out of the immersive experience of the moment. But ultimately, I think I do agree with you. In this instance, that would have really helped her to have that. And so maybe, yeah, clarifying like, well, I'm asking because of this ability I have.
Right. And then Paul might have still said, like, make a roll. Your character may not know. But that is a really fantastic point of, trying to try not to metagame as much and stay in the moment. And ultimately, Apex wasn't able to figure it out. But yeah, sometimes there's like a lost in communication. But I think generally this is really good, and I know Eve as a player has done this a lot before, and a lot of it too is hasn't done this a lot before. I know Eve as a player is really good at communicating, and it could also just be playing a new character for the first time or at a new level, and that happens a lot with these one-shot battles that we have.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. And I wanted to bring that up. That again, like everyone is doing this. It's a one shot. You're playing this for the first time. And that makes it even more impressive, like we were saying earlier, about how cohesive they were able to be, to knowing their abilities and communicating. And gosh, for that matter, huge props to Paul. He was having so many balls in the air, having to keep track of so much, these brand new, really cool monsters. But like these MCDM things, like these are they're complicated. They have a lot going on. They interact with each other, which again is awesome. They're so cool, but it requires so much of you as a DM when you already have such a hectic time in combat anyway. But I thought Paul did a fantastic job bringing those things in and taking good advantage of these new abilities.
I can't agree more. And I know as a DM, quite often if there's a layer action, I will forget that there's a layer action, and then I'll have to remember either put it in on a future round or do something else with it, and him remembering to use it and to bring it in and to make the experience that much more exciting. Absolutely, it takes a lot. Yeah. So for anything else for the round that you wanted to cover?
No, I think that was all my thoughts. It was a really fun round, just watching them go through, and almost more of a cleanup round after having done all their setup.
Which is especially funny because isn't that what most of the other party was doing? They were cleaning up during
Yeah.
that round.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
So one thing I want to ask is, I usually like to know play of the game. I'm pretty sure we're both going to agree on this, but I like to always ask, what do you think was the play of the game?
Definitely the mass suggestion. No question on that. That just changed the entire flow of how it went. Again, it gave them that chance to set up. It took them out of commission. Just kind of a note on that. When we did the play test, it went so radically differently from how this did. We kind of struggled a little bit. We took a ton of damage. I think we were kind of rattled by just that first round where they appeared and they had their setup. And so it was so cool seeing it go this different way. And so, yeah, that mass suggestion, it's just that it was killer in more ways than one.
Yeah, totally agree. Play the game. Mass suggestion. It can be an encounter-ending spell when used properly. We can see it here. There's definitely a lot to be said about enforcing the dead condition on your enemies. Sometimes when they're dead, they're not a problem. But with mass suggestion, you don't have to do any damage. It's essentially you're removing them from the encounter altogether. And yeah, it's a heavy hitter, and to kind of pop that right in round one, great use. I know in the past I've said player of the game, but I don't like to do player of the game, especially after this episode. We saw so many great team plays. We saw how Mercy was sort of healing instead of doing the damage, making sure Renault was up, making sure that all that he could still really deliver those powerful spells. We saw Discord just giving those bardic inspirations, super helpful, super useful, especially for these type of battles to just keep on buffing your party. Same with Apex, just kind of going through and cleaning up, making sure that those right spots were hit when they needed to be. And of course, Renault, just as the main villain, I mean, as the higher level character, being able just to drop some really heavy and hard-hitting spells.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It would be impossible to say a player of the game. Every one of them contributed something absolutely vital, and it would not have gone near that well if any of them had not been on their game. So every single one of them, just amazing job.
Absolutely. All right, so I think that's all that we have for today. Jody, I want to say thank you again for being a guest commentator. Really had a great time and a fun time talking with you about this battle. So I hope you're on again soon, either as a player or as a commentator. And I think we're going to go back to me and Paul for the wrap up.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to more of what you guys are doing. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Okay. So that was the episode. First thing, let's get to the giveaway. We forgot to put it in the episode, so we're doing it now.
My fault.
The instructions for the giveaway are just direct message me, Paul Zajac, on the Discord. Just say something like Flea Mortals contest, and in the first week or after the end of the first week, we'll just choose somebody randomly to give the book away to.
You can find the Discord in the description.
Yes, on the YouTube video, or if you're already part of the Discord, great.
Even better.
Okay, let's talk about the video. You start.
Yeah, I really liked I can't really say villains. I'll say the antagonists. I really loved how the antagonists were able to start this battle with those surprise actions.
Yeah, the villain party actions that are written in.
Loved it.
Kind of like lair actions, but they were. The thing is that they were shared, right? Is that each person within that party had one possibility of a thing that could happen as an additional action.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't just that there was one big bad. It was like they all shared that and could do something to jump in.
And it was great because it really kind of had to separate attention between who were you going to focus on. They all could do something. It subverted expectations, so the players right from the start were not really sure what was going on and had to think on their feet.
And I loved how and that's the focus of this book, is that the monsters have individual things to do that are unique to them versus being like refer back to this spell, which I think that are some of the monsters that we see in the official player's handbook, and this was kind of a response to that.
It was great.
Yeah, great.
But talking about spells, I think we really should mention the big sucker save.
Yeah. Right. So that the mass suggestion really just changed the character of the entire encounter, and it's a tough question. I don't think there's a perfect answer, as with so many things in life. What do you do about a save or suck spell? Of course, you want it to have a chance to succeed, but you want the fun to continue. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it all really comes down to the number of enemies there are. With your big bad, especially on the first round, I would say definitely make sure that your big bad has legendary resistances so that they aren't just completely shut down on round one.
Yeah.
And then with the minions, with those type of spells, you're looking at maybe a 1 in 4 chance, especially at that high level, to save. So just make sure you have a lot of minions that, if you lose some of them to mass suggestion or something else,
right,
it's still going to put some pressure on the party.
Yeah, and I tried to do that a little bit by having one of the bad guys hidden, but it wasn't enough. I just D&D is swingy. Three of the bad guys failed their save.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's it. Briefly, we're now that we've got this additional show. So next week we're gonna have the locker room, the DM's lounge about this, and we'll discuss these things more. Until then, remember the contest, Flee Mortals, and
great book.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for watching, and
See you next
see you next time.